Hey everyone, it's Lexie. So in today's video I'll be sharing with you my TBR 5-star predictions. So these are books on my TBR that I think that will, hit the, sacred 5-star review. So I'm really excited about that, and I apologize for my fingers. You can kind of see here I have Raynoids in my hand and my fingers are frozen and my nail polish is really bad, but you can kind of see my tips of my fingers are white, so my fingers are freezing. But besides that, hopefully I'll be able to get through this and my fingers will warm up for a little bit. But yeah, enough with that tangent. So without further ado, let's get started. So starting out, this is one that I think is going to just make me cry, and it is A Man Called Ove by Fedrik Backman. I've heard really great things about this one. I've loved his Beartown trilogy, I think it's going to be now, so I have high expectations going into this one, and my aunt has read it as well and she says it's quite the tearjerker. But it's about like the grumpiest old man in the world, and he's just very grumpy, and then he has like these new neighbors that move in, and it kind of goes off from there, and that kind of help him kind of form a unlikely friendship. And I think this one is just gonna be really amazing. Like I said, I've already heard great things about it, and I feel like it will just be a lot of fun and a tearjerker. And I always love like old grumpy old people that find someone that really they form that kind of unlikely friendship with, whether it's a person or an animal or something like that. Like I always kind of love those stories, and I always love Fedrik Backman's writing as well. It's very like lyrical, and so I'm really excited to see what this one has in store because I've heard so many great things about it. So next up I have Dragonfly by Leila Meacham, and so this one is that I'm really excited about, and I just love this cover too. So if like the inside of the book matches the outside, that will be like ideal. But essentially this follows a group of people throughout the US that are recruited by the OSS to kind of become spies during World War II, and so they each kind of follows them in their like training. They have like different backgrounds. So there's a Texan athlete, an upper crust son of a French mother, a dirt poor Midwest fly fisherman, an orphan fashion designer, and a female fencer. So they each get recruited by the OSS to kind of train to become spies for the Allies during World War II, and so it kind of follows their training and then everything kind of after that. But it seems like really interesting, and I haven't, like I said, I haven't read a lot of historical fiction in a while, and I think this one can really kind of get me back into that genre again. This is one that is a little bit different than the kind of the books that I tend to gravitate towards, and it is Midnight at the Blackbird Cafe. And this is honestly one that it was like I was kind of intrigued by the cover, and then the back seemed really interesting as well. So it follows this small town in Alabama where the grandmother has passed away, and so the granddaughter goes back to kind of go through all of her grandmother's stuff, and her Blackbird Cafe is kind of there as well, and she kind of ends up getting kind of staying there for like longer than she expected. And there's some magical realism thrown around here, and there's something very special about, I want to say, like one of her like pies is also very legendary as well. But and it says, as the truth about her past slowly becomes clear, the main character will need to decide if this lone Blackbird will finally be able to take her broken wings and fly. And it just seems fun. I always love like the small town kind of stories that are kind of centered around there, and adding that magical realism aspect in here I think would be fun as well. This one I think is going to be very insightful, and it's going to be a heavy read to kind of get through, but also very important as well, and it is stamped from the beginning. And this is one that I'm very excited to read because I think like I need to educate myself more on racism in America, and this one covers the definitive history of racist ideas in America, and I think this will allow me to kind of just get a better grasp of how so much of like the racist structure of our society is interwoven into the fabric of just how the US is set up. And I think this one will help open my eyes and kind of get a better idea of that. And I think it kind of goes through basically from like 1700s onwards, so I think it will cover like a good chunk of history and allow me to kind of get a better grasp of it. I think it'll be very hard to get through just how horrible the kind of slave trade was and how horrible racism is now, but I think it's a necessary read to get through. And lastly, I have The Lions of Fifth Avenue by Fiona Davis, and this is one that I'm very intrigued about. It follows like a dual storyline, so it follows a grandmother, or this one person in 1913 who becomes like a very much a feminist icon of the era with like, you know, the suffragettes and all that. So she's very much well known in kind of American history as being like this very big feminist icon. And then we kind of flash forward to kind of the mid-90s, where we follow the granddaughter who's very much struggling with the kind of living in the shadow that her grandmother has like cast upon her, just being known as like someone who's related to that person. And so she's working at she's a curator at the New York Public Library, and then these kind of important documents go missing and it kind of goes off from there. But this one seems really interesting. I like how it's tackling kind of the feminist movement in the like the 10s. I think it will just be very interesting, and just seeing that dual paradigm. I've heard really great things about this too, so it seems intriguing, and yeah, I'm really excited about this. So that is it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below what some of your top 5-star TBR predictions are for this year and all of that stuff. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.